Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Repitch. I'm your host David with my co-host Richard.
Hey guys.
And today we're gonna dig into a summertime favorite, Stranger Things season 4.
Yeah. First of all, before you go any further, spoiler alert, if you still haven't seen it for some reason, go watch it, come back, because there's no spoil. There's gonna be no spoiler for it. It's gonna be all spoilers here on out, because I got a lot on my mind and I got a lot to say.
Yes. Richard has plenty of things to say about this one. It was a long one, very long, and we'll get into that as well. But should we give them a little recap?
Yeah, David. What happens in this movie of a season?
All right. So for this one, I think we start off, if you guys don't remember, 11 and Will's family, they end up moving to California because they can't stay there for some reason.
Because the pain, because Hopper died. Go on, yeah.
Yes. And then, but the rest of the gang, they're still in
Hawkins,
and they're now in high school. All the guys are part of this Hellfire Club run by one of the fan favorites of this season, Eddie. And also, I can't remember all their names.
It's okay. Just, quicker, David.
So one of the friends who also, he's part of the club, but he's also part of the basketball team, ends up going through this whole jock phase with himself. And
which goes nowhere.
And at the same time, we got Max, who's going through some issues of her own on the side. Yes. So this taps into a lot of deeper issues with these kids. And what starts happening is some of these kids start getting possessed and killed by one of the, what do you call it? Upside down.
New bad guy of the year.
New bad guy of the year, Vecna. Where they all somehow just end up naming them after Dungeons and Dragons characters, and they all just happen to fit the same description as these Dungeons and Dragons characters.
Hey, stop talking about the bad stuff. Go on to give us a summary, David.
Anyways, so Vecna continues to torment this city. Turns out there's a very deep history behind that, and Vecna was a big part of that history. He was part of this family taken into this government program where he's some kind of tested as some kind of monster alien, and then turns out that this guy has been tormenting these kids this whole time. And what else is happening?
11 gets kidnapped. She gets her powers back. They try to fight back, but they fail.
Yes.
No one dies. No one important dies. Only Eddie dies.
You also learn that 11 was also with Vecna, who happened to be one of the.
He's the one.
He's number one. You got 11, and then you got 1.
Yeah, he was the first experimented kid.
Right.
Yeah, that's David, I love what the train that you have to do to recollect what happens, because that's exactly what the season is about. But this is Repitch. We talk about the good, the bad, and the pitch. So let's talk about the good. Let's talk about the good first.
The good is.
Sorry, my headphones came out, so I can't hear a word you're saying. All right, what happened, David?
So the good I was gonna say is some of the characters that felt a little flat before, they got a good revival.
Oh yeah.
And I will.
Do you have someone in mind?
Well, Nancy is definitely the big one in mind. I think she really stepped up this. They brought her out a lot more for this season. She kind of took this leadership role almost, where it usually is Mike. Mike was supposed to be that guy, but it seems like in this season it seems like that role disappeared for him.
She's this badass strong woman. Great job. I mean, season 3 did her dirty. She basically did nothing but just it was boring, but yeah. I agree.
Some of the other good things, I personally I think I like the history side of it. They're digging deeper into how this all started, and I enjoyed that part of it.
And it definitely was not. I'm 100% sure it wasn't planned from the beginning, but they do a kind of a credible job. Like, oh, it kind of makes sense a little bit.
Yes, no, yeah, it was good enough where like you fell into the story and then like it tied in everything else kind of very nicely. Um, yeah, this is. I didn't think they left out anything from previous seasons, or like it didn't feel like anything was left out.
No, it was borderline good writing, not borderline. Maybe like
Mm,
it was okay. It was good writing, solid writing.
right. Um, think this one also. Now I don't really remember 100% in the previous seasons how much the parents are involved, but it seemed like in
Not
this
really.
one there was like only one portion where they were really really involved, but even that was like very minimal.
Yeah,
Um,
they go to the Charlie Brown kind of special where like they're only there just for a little bit.
right. Other than that, they go off and do their own thing. The kids at least.
Oh yeah.
Now I thought it was interesting. I don't know, like their whole transporting back and forth between the upside down. They were doing it very like much easily, like
Oh yeah.
the way they figured that out.
It was like the
Um,
next level. It's like, okay, now it's not this weird place, but like, okay, they're there. They know what's going on and stuff like that.
yep. Yeah. Music, always great.
Oh, the music was so good. Like, oh, like one of the you said characters that were kind of flat. Like Max, she honestly did not really have an arc. She was just a very like, oh, I'm a strong again, like, yeah, look at me, I'm spunky, abusive brother.
Yep.
But like she was great in this season, Dave. Was
I
it like
think yeah, the way that her character dipped into that whole trying to deal with her inner demons and like that whole depression side of things, trying to get over the mourning of her brother.
yeah, and the guilt that she can't explain to her own father and mother, like
Right,
why he died. That he died saving her life, and just like,
right.
oh,
So
so good. And like, oh man, like you said, that song, like music, like "Running Up the Hill" by Kate Bush.
yeah,
That sequence when she's just escaping, like it is an amazing metaphor of just like running away from your depression and just trying to fight
yeah.
it for you. And like, oh, that was like iconic. And like, side note, like Spotify has like a playlist like where they listen to your songs, kind of creepy, but like make you a list of like, oh, songs that you could use to escape back the upside down. And it's one of my favorite playlists. It updates, so like random songs come up like, oh, I haven't heard the song in years, but like I love it. I forgot.
Do
It's
you?
so good.
Just speaking of that, do you remember? Did you do it? Like, did you?
Oh, I did it. I definitely.
What was your song? I can't remember my song, but what was your song?
The first, it's a lot of Lizzo for some reason. Like I love Lizzo. It's a lot of Lizzo. Let me see. What's your first one on the playlist?
I gotta circle back and find it, but
You and I have never talked about music before. This is
yeah, no,
interesting.
this is interesting. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah. Do you?
I guess my first one is it's very Richard. It's "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift.
That's your first one.
That is the song you're gonna listen. I'm gonna listen to save myself away from Vecna.
Let's see. Where am I supposed to go for this?
I don't know if they have it anymore.
Upside down playlist. That's not.
Yeah, yeah,
Is that it?
it's not it.
That's
Yeah,
not it.
upside down playlist. That's what it is. But yeah, the music was so good in this as
Oh.
Dave is looking for. I loved it. Like even the scene where Eddie's playing Master Puppets by Metallica, that was just so iconic and so epic, where not only is he figuratively not literally standing up for himself and being brave for the first time, but like, oh, great guitar solo.
Yeah. No, that guitar solo was great.
Yeah, and he
Master
could play
Puppets.
that.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, he could play that in real life, which is a great, yeah.
I heard he got to meet
The band.
the band. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's so iconic. But it's like again, like that's great. I haven't listened to Metallica since I was in middle school, but like, oh, that was a good solid week. I was just going through that rabbit hole of just like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to this.
Oh man, I have such a weird playlist.
What's your first one? The first one in your
First
song?
one is actually a Christian song.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. What is it?
Oh, Come to the Altar by Elevation.
Okay, that's a good one.
Second one on the list is This Will Be by Natalie Cole.
Oh, okay.
You go further down the list, you got in sync in there.
In sync?
Yeah.
Jeez, David. Okay, married life changed you.
It's like a huge mix of pop music, rock music, and Christian music.
Yo, I don't have any Christian music here. I have Kanye West and God Is. That's like the only Christian music I have. Maybe that tells you about our character. But yeah, I mean, it's great. The music, again, like almost every season, Stranger Things does a great job with just detailed music. Love it.
Yeah, agreed.
What else? You know the actor for Vecna, the attendant. He was great. He was terrifying.
He was. It kind of threw me off. I honestly wasn't expecting that. Like when he was playing that as a
the helper or whatever,
right, yeah.
that's like helping Eleven as a kid, and like it makes sense. Like it's pretty obvious, but like same here. I totally agree. I was like, oh, that's really fun.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I like that.
It's like it's one of those things where like, is he? Is he not? Is he?
Yeah. Like and like you find out that he's Vecna, he's Henry Cree, like he's the whole bad guy the whole time. Like, oh, interesting. Yeah. Any other good before I get to the bad? Not the bad. Like again, it's a solid season. Like the things that just bugged me to death.
Yes, we are nitpickers, so
don't say that. That's anything else that you liked?
I think people are dying to hear everything that you didn't like. So
okay, all right. So, all right. The bad. Let's get to the bad. First thing, the villains, the bad guys. There's two specific bad guys in this. I might have a stroke halfway through this, David. Just give me a minute. Like one of the bad guys is, here's this bad side of the government trying to capture 11 because they think they're back. First of all, you have no proof that 11's the one that's alive, that's doing this. That makes no sense. Like, why would you chase after something that you don't know exists? Like, they're the bad guy. Like, they are the main antagonists for the West Coast team. And it's so boring. It's so frustrating. I'm just like, I don't care what this general is doing or whatever. It's so boring. And Vecna, like... But we see him like episode 1.
Yeah.
He is like he looks scary, great makeup, but he's so boring.
What is boring about him? Because he's going into these kids' minds and like tormenting them. So
again, the idea is scary. You see his face pop up, but like when you see his full body and he's slowly creeping to you, I could not help but laugh because I don't know why, but it looks so funny. And he's never running. He's always just walking really slowly with his long fingers, trying to grab at the president, and it just looked weird and awkward. I'm like, and like people are running away from him, but he's never running after them. Like, the demidogs, the demigorgons, terrifying creatures. You don't see their face. You don't know when they're going to pop out. And they're just like, oh my gosh, like you could die. But Vecna, he's just like people, like Max and everyone's like escaped for them multiple times. I'm like, why should I be afraid of this guy? Which is such an ironic thing because one is terrifying. Like Henry Creel is terrifying, but Vecna just like, ugh.
That's ironic. That is ironic.
I mean, is that how you felt when you saw Vecna?
I mean, not to that extent. I think I was just, kind of whatever about Vecna. I thought, I think he was just like, he fits this Stranger Things type of mold. Like,
yeah.
So I think it was just more like, it kind of he fits into this, so it wasn't a real big issue for me.
Those boring. If you know what he felt like? He felt like the It Clown, but less fun.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He felt like the poor man's version of the It Clown.
Yeah. I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
So for me, one of the biggest issues for this season has nothing to do with story, acting, character, but the length.
Oh my gosh.
How long each episode was.
Long. Oh my gosh. And like how long were the last couple of episodes? They were legit movies.
The last episode, I think it was 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
2.5 hours for a TV
David.
show.
Oh my god! I mean, like, how did you feel? Like, yeah.
Hey, I mean, I powered through it, but at the same time, I was like, "Come on, guys! Like, I get it. People wanted this, but do we really need it?"
No. I'm like, why did you make this 2 hours? Like, you could have split this up. And I'm like, I don't think making this 2 hours made it better. If anything, it just felt chunky.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree. The length was just.
What did you think of now another kind of like logistical thing? what did you think of like the season split? You know how like they did like the
Oh,
first half like 1 month and then they brought the rest
I
out like
don't.
in
Yeah.
July.
I mean, I don't mind that as much. Like, it's annoying as a viewer because you want to binge watch everything, but I understand. Netflix has nothing in its boat. They have nothing going for them. Like, Stranger Thing is one of their biggest money makers. So, like, hey, you want to egg it on and get another month of subscriptions? I understand. Go ahead, bro.
Yep. I mean, at this point, I think they're trying to save money.
Oh, yeah. Like, they gave money. Like, okay, you know what? A bunch of people are going to have the subscription for 1 month. No, nah, we want another month so people can pay it. Just like, whatever.
I mean, they gotta do something. They're losing out to Disney Plus
Oh
right
yeah.
now.
Oh my gosh. Or HBO. Like yeah. Like they're bleeding dry. But yeah.
Yeah.
The season splits. Whatever.
Um, other issues with this, I think some of the characters were definitely annoying.
Who was annoying to you? Oh my
Uh,
gosh. Oh, I'm gonna have a stroke. But go on. Yeah. Yeah. I,
I don't know. A lot of them were kind of annoying.
who was the most annoying? Because we can literally like okay, this person like.
I think probably Mike, and then
Yes, amen. Oh my gosh, I would never wanted to punch a kid so badly in my life. But go on, David. Why was he annoying to you?
I think this is a gradual thing too for him. Like his character, maybe it's like that teenage thing. I don't know. Like he just seems to get whinier and whinier every season.
Yeah, he's such a little not punk, but like a brat, and
Yeah.
it's so boring.
Yes, as we like Korean people like to say, he's a little shecky.
Yeah, he is. That's a really bad word, but like, yeah, he's like he's whiny. He's the same level. He's even whinier than he was when he was a little kid in season 1, and it's like really off-putting. Like, oh no, 11 is gone. Oh no, I mean, like what is he whining about? It's just like the most annoying things. Like, yeah, he's a kid going to puberty, but like, show some other range, please.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of things where he just misses mark and he just gets throws a fuss about things and then there's that whole like situation and interaction between him and Will, and like
So awkward and
I
so
was
boring. Like, yeah, you feel heavy connotation that Will is gay, which like you could kind of felt like you felt in season 4, season
right,
3.
yeah, like towards the end of it, I think that was they're starting to bring that out, and then there was definitely a little bit more clear here, like throwing those signs, and
Oh yeah,
yeah, like
and just like it's oh my gosh, he's so annoying in this. Is like what's like okay, like yeah, I need to find 11. She's my true love. What's his issue? He's never said I love you. Boo hoo. I'm like I'm pretty sure he said it before, but like whatever. Like oh, 11's about to die from Vecna. What's gonna help her? What's gonna save her? Is it Hopper from Russia? Nah, it's freaking Mike saying I love you. And like ugh, I wanted to just die right there. It's just like really, that's your arc. Like you say I love you for the first time. I'm like oh god, it's so dumb, so
no.
boring.
I feel like 11 has her moments too. She
Yeah.
like there are some moments where it's like, come on.
She's going through the same thing over again. I'm
Yeah.
like, come on, let's see some growth. Like, okay, she's reliving her trauma. I'm like, when is she not traumatic? And just like, but granted, her dealing with high school life, like, what really like, I kind of liked her like start, like her in a new school. Definitely does not fit the bully that's bullying her. She does a great job. I never wanted to smack a kid before, but like, does a great job bullying 11, and you just really see her like, yeah, she doesn't belong in this real world. Like she's like been caged up basically, and like she doesn't know how to react, like, talk to people, and like I really wish they kind of like talked about that, did something more with that. But like,
Yep.
nah, Papa's alive, and we go through the same. Let's put it in a tank because everyone liked that in season 1, so let's do that again.
Oh
It
yeah.
felt like.
Just like putting her through this weird training period where she's got to
Oh yeah.
dig into her own memories.
Oh yeah, and it's just like we see the same clip over and over again. I'm like, this is so slow. Like I'm so anything that's happening in the West Coast, I felt so bored. Whenever like the only thing I liked about the West Coast was like we saw Dustin's girlfriend.
Yeah,
And I thought
that was pretty fun. I like that
I-
where they're at the house, they go through that whole interaction.
she was adorable. I'm like, that's really cute. I wish Dustin met her, but like whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess one of the things I felt like they could have done better with I wasn't a fan of the fact that they were all off doing their own things,
Oh
like
yeah.
separately, and then somehow they were connected. like,
I mean,
like
granted, they've done this like they've done this multiple times in different seasons where like, oh, like adults are doing their things, kids are doing this, but like there's 4 different story arcs going here. West Coast, Hawkins, the kids are doing their own things, Hawkins, and it's Russia. It's super distracting. That's super like out of focus.
right, and somehow, some way, like they're all like, oh, like we're all doing this together. We have to do like, and then they somehow coordinate, like it all works
I'm
out.
like, I called BS on that.
Yeah, because like you were saying in the past, yes, there are like different stories, different groups doing things at times, but even at that, I feel like all the kids were together. They were able to do their things together.
They were in the same goddamn town.
Right. They were in the same location, so like they were able to. But then you got like Mike and his group with 11 going into a pizza shop, making a tub with,
which was like, you know, like you're basically talking about tone. I feel like the tone in this, it just shifts completely. Like it feels really weird, really awkward. Like you're in the West Coast, they're just hanging around doing tomfoolery. Then you go to Russia and Hopper's being tortured and he's breaking his own ankle and his skin just to escape from his shackles. It's just like very distracting.
Yeah,
very like it's tonal whiplash. That's what it feels like.
What were your feelings about the way that it ended?
So it ended with them. So like Vecna kind of dies, blah blah. Right. Vecna like kind of wins. Max is they did my girl Max so dirty. Like she escapes, but now she's in a coma. She blind and she broke her legs and arms. I'm like, dang, that's dirty. But like I was just like, it was so lackluster. Like, oh my gosh. Before I talk about the ending, like I want to talk about how they brought Hopper back in the season. And I think that's like the single biggest mistake they did.
Bringing him back?
I don't think they should have brought him back in this season.
Okay.
Because I feel like the last season, when it ends with 11 reading Harper's letter, I thought that was one of the greatest ways. Like, it was such a good way for us to close that season. And, like, this season's like, oh, Hopper's alive. He's doing his own things in Russia. Don't worry, Murray and Joyce is in Russia right now. Oh, no, don't worry. Hopper has a giant sword and he chops off a giant Demogorgon. It's okay. Like, I honestly, it's such a tonal. It's so not necessary.
It does what we're talking about with sequels.
Yeah,
it steps it up.
Yeah, it steps it up, but it's just like I don't think he needed to be in this. I'm like, what does he add to it? Like in the end, he's reunited with 11, and you see like, oh, it's all cutesy, whatever. But I'm like, this is boring. I'm like, I don't know, like. I just feel very mad and like, oh, Will has the tingles again as he's back in town and they see in the woods freaking the upside down world is like piercing through. I mean, what did you think before
the ending of it? Or
yeah,
I don't know, I think for me I was just like kind of like watching the season to pass by almost. That's what it felt like, because to me in my mind, like, this was the final season.
Yeah.
So like I thought the end was gonna be the end, but then when I got there, I was like, oh, looks like there's gonna be more. Is it gonna be another season of like 2.5 hour episodes? Like, because like the reason why I tolerated the length of these episodes was my whole time was like, oh, this is it. We're not gonna get any more Stranger Things after this. But then I was like, no, oh man,
they're making spin-offs, David. They're doing more stuff with this.
Spin-offs. Why?
I don't know. You know, one thing, I have a prediction of what the next season is going to be like. You want to hear it? So I have a feeling that the bad government's going to come in town, obviously. Hopper and what's her name? 11. They go to the woods and they try to survive again. But they're like going all hairy and they're like really grunge. They're going to, of course, save Max. But again, it's a time skip. This is going to be like 5 years later. They're like semi-adults. And like we see her boyfriend, the basketball guy, I forgot his name. It's such a generic name, but whatever. He's still reading to her. It's really sweet, and yeah, like that's my prediction. They're gonna win, and Max comes back.
So it's just like they're gonna be much older. They're gonna be adults now. Are they gonna be done with high school? Like,
they don't go to college. Some of them go to college, some don't, and yeah, they're trying to live in this weird pseudo world. Maybe they're like what do you call it? Quarantined inside that town, or something like that.
So you think like they're not gonna let anybody leave?
No.
Actually, people were trying to leave in that final episode, from what I remember.
They were stuck in traffic.
Right,
I think,
right.
Yeah.
So you think the government's gonna come in, just quarantine them off,
Oh
and
yeah,
just
100%. That sounds
Gotcha.
so government. Like yeah.
like put them in a bubble, like in the
Yeah.
Simpsons movie?
Exactly. What's his name? Female's gonna come and but yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen. It's gonna be I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be a satisfying ending.
Yeah, I mean to go back to this ending, the way I thought, I tried to do a little bit too much of a maybe not too much, but like the whole thing with Max, they completely like
they did her dirty.
Yeah, like they saved her and then they completely like destroyed her.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, why? Ouch! It's just like,
right.
Like I understand, like it's like they're trying to be dark, like like gritty,
Exactly.
but like they don't do a great job because they keep killing off new characters. Like Eddie, great, like I think he was a fun addition. They killed him off, and I'm like, that's so boring. Like I feel like they should have killed off.
I feel
the main
like
cast.
Yeah, I feel like killing off a character always brings a whole new
weight to
it. But not all the time, You can't just it's not an automatic thing. Like for me, I feel like they should have kept Eddie. Like he could have been around for that final season. Like there's so much more he could have brought.
No. But one of the biggest issues I feel like in this show, there's too many people. And they want to give them semi-equal screen time. And like there's about like 20 people they're following. It's a lot of people, and like they don't do almost any of them justice. And it's just like, like 11 is a lot of people's fun favorite character. Let's see more of her. But nah, we gotta watch the hippie. We gotta watch Will's brother and the hippie guy smoke pot, and just like, oh god,
sounds like Game of Thrones.
Yeah. It's just like, oh my gosh, there's too many characters, and they keep killing off new characters, which is like, I'm like, why? I'm like, why you introducing these characters? Like that's what they do. They introduce characters like Bobby. Like Super Bobby, they introduce characters like Eddie, and like they kill them off. Like, oh no, like it's such a serious thing. I'm like, at this point, I'm like, we know how you play this game. I'm like, yeah, you cripple Max, but like, how much more heart wrenching would it be if they killed off a main cast? It's like, oh shoot, like this is serious. Where's season 5 gonna go?
Right.
What is this show gonna look like now?
Well, I mean, I'm sure we could continue on with our rant for this. But I'm actually really excited to hear your repitch for this season.
Oh yeah. I'm excited to speak it, David. I promise you, I won't kill everyone. I made a joke with David last week. We semi-planned this in advance. I'm like, David, I'm gonna kill everyone off. It was like in my pitches, for some reason, I kill a lot of my characters off.
Like you said, it brings that weight.
No, it does, but like I promise I won't kill everyone off. Maybe some characters.
Are you gonna throw a twist and not kill anybody? Like
no, fudge though. Someone needs to die. Someone in the main cast needs to die. All right, so this is my pitch for season 4. You ready?
Yes.
All right. First of all, Hopper Hopper's not alive. He's dead. He's always been dead.
Okay. All right.
We never see him. We don't see him in this season. So West Coast. I'm gonna split this West Coast, Hawkins, then they connect. Okay, West Coast. What happens? Will is with his families. He's with 11, and Mike comes to visit. The first couple episodes, I kind of want to stick with the same storyline, just change it up a bit.
Okay.
But Joyce stays with them the whole time. I want to see her react with her own sons for the first time. Have a conversation, have this journey with them. Will wants to confess his feelings to Mike, but he can't because he just feels all this stuff, 11 gets taken to the bunker, and the whole family goes and has this very similar journey where they look for her, but eventually they do get reunited inside the bunker, and 11 still can't get her powers back. And maybe like, oh, Mike, they're trying to figure it out. They get ambushed by the bad government. We don't know who these people are. We don't see them. And Mike gets shot and killed in the crossfire.
What episode is that?
I'm like, maybe like towards the end, but we'll see.
Is that episode
But then,
2?
yeah, that is when Eleven's power gets triggered. It's like, oh my goodness, like I could have helped him, but I couldn't, and he was dying. And as this is happening, they realize, oh shoot, Hawkins is being like destroyed, like Vecna is about to just kill them. And so like that weight is on 11. Like she cannot have any more of her friends die.
Mm.
And like yeah, like I want this weight of like the same way like okay, Mike could never told 11 that she loved her or some BS or whatever, but like also Will. So like a lot of things they couldn't say when they didn't have enough time. That weight happening in the West Coast. Like Will wished he had a chance to confess his feelings. 11 wishes that she spent more time with Mike and stuff like that. But okay, they're running back home to Hawkins to save them. So in Hawkins, they have a very similar investigation. Max is still going through that kind of traumatic. I want to keep that same where she survives. That's a great sequence. Mm-hmm. The big climax, they try to fight Vecna. They go inside the underworld. They're losing, they're fighting, but looks like they're gonna win. But eventually they fail. They fail miserably. Yeah, Vecna gets hurt, but he's still really powerful. And what happens is a huge loss where Steve dies. I really thought they're gonna kill Steve off.
Honestly, I thought so too.
Yeah, like the whole weight of Steve stays behind. He is the one that sacrifices himself so they can survive. Dustin loses a leg, and Max is hurt too. And 11 is almost at Hawkins, but when she gets there, the whole town is gone.
Oh, so she doesn't. Okay.
So no, the town is legit disappearing.
Right.
Because what we find out is that Vecna, even though he wasn't at full strength, was able to absorb Hawkins, and the whole town itself is in the upside down world. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much my pitch. Any questions? Eddie's still there. Yeah,
Eddie's still there at the end.
Yeah, but I just really want to like tighten it up, and yeah.
So I mean, the obvious impact of Mike dying is what kind of sparks like 11 and Will's storylines. To continue through. So like throughout this period, like 11 traveling. Is there anything happening for 11 traveling to Hawkins? Because it sounds like because of that traveling time, she's not able to do anything. Like there's
no. Well, like during the traveling, maybe we'll see like Will and 11 never really talk or react. I really want to see because like these are the two weirdest people in the world. Because like Will literally knows what it's like to be with this bad guy, and like 11 has these superpowers. Like I would love to see directly. And both these people loved Mike. And like they could kind of sense that, and they know like, yo, it's kind of Ako Taco here, but like, hey, like we gotta go and save Hawkins for Mike's sake. We gotta save Mike's home. Yeah, and like, oh my god, like next season 5, what I want to happen is like somehow like they go back into the world, and we find what's his name? What's Mike's sister's name? Nancy finds out that not only is her first love Steve dead because of her, but Mike is also dead, and she turns out to be this badass woman and 11's not the one that kills Vecna, but she's the one that takes the final strike and kills him.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and 11 has to die. 11's gonna definitely die. Like 11 dies by flipping the world upside down, and that's how the season ends.
I see. So you just repitch season 4 and you pitch season 5.
Oh yeah. It's like
double homework.
I don't think there's gonna be a world where 11 survives season 5.
I do see that also, but I feel like somehow, some way, they're gonna keep her alive. Like I think.
Oh my god.
As like fan favorite, they're gonna.
Something stupid, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the love story of this series. Like I don't know. They might not kill him off, but
I hate their love story. That's why I want Mike to die. I'm like, yo, it was borderline cringy last season, and now it's unsufferable. But like, how like, if Mike dies and that love story like technically ends, like you feel for that, like, oh yeah, that teenage love.
Right. I mean, which is why for this, I will say, I like that. I like Mike dying. That sounds bad out of context, but
out of context. Go on.
But I think it really serves a good purpose for really elevating not just 11's character, but everybody else. You know, like having somebody this close in their group. What do they call their group? They call their group something. I forget.
It's something nerdy.
Yeah,
but,
but yeah, that little group. You know, like having somebody die like that.
Yeah, the party.
You know, it's gonna really impact them. It's so much heavier. But I wish you gave me a little bit more of that in between time with like 11. Like I want to see her like step up
and do more.
Do more. Like she goes Super Saiyan after like seeing Mike die, or like, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like she's really stepped up her power, and then she ends up going back, or like somewhere in between there, like she's learning to harness more of her power, and like I wish there was a little bit more with the 11 side
there. Yeah,
only
I can see that.
mainly because 11 is the main character, that, you know, safe to say, like
it's Stranger Things, not Stranger 11.
no, but it's her that moves this whole series. Like she's the reason why like the group is even here, like, you know.
I disagree with you on that, but okay, go on.
I mean, tell me then, season 1, if they don't find 11, what happens?
I mean, I don't think she's the main character. I mean, like all these kids are the main characters.
No, I get that, but I'm more in the sense of like without 11, this doesn't happen.
Okay, you know, I'll give you that. She's definitely the most interesting thing about the series.
No, I mean, like she is like that thing, that character that that really moves this series, and that's what everybody is grounded in. Like this girl and so the whole
you want more out of her. Okay.
But I do like Vecna completely destroying the Hawkins. Really setting it up for the next season.
Give me the green light. Be brutal, Dave. I don't care.
I mean, honestly, like, I do like that. I would give you the green light for those, the first and last part, but that middle part, I
mean, clearly, I worked on this like 30 minutes before we met him.
Like, you gotta give me a little bit more with the 11 side of it.
We'll brainstorm. What would you add with my pitch?
For your pitch, all right. Should I give you like a quick minute pitch of what I would do?
No. Sure.
I would put in the time jump in this season.
Oh, okay. Ooh,
I would do with your Mike dying and Hawkins getting destroyed. That's the first half of the season.
Oh,
and then that's where 11 is like, no, you know, I can't let this happen again. Let me work this out. Let me really, really work on my power. And she starts finding ways. She starts going into the upside down and coming back out. Like she's training herself. Like she's really trying to get herself ready.
Okay.
Like prepping herself. And then on top of that, with everybody else, like, you know, kind of decommission. Who's it? Dustin lost a leg and things like that. Everybody starts developing another way to kind of like
to fight back. They're not just kids. Yeah.
But here, I think the twist here is like, because of the losses, everybody's doing their kind of like separated to begin that second half of the season.
So long. Okay, go on.
And then somehow, some way, something like Vecna's coming back. Everybody sees that brings them back together, and then, you know, the rest is history.
Okay, I mean, you want all this in one season?
Hey, if they can do 2.5-hour episodes, yes.
And you would end it on season 4?
Yeah, why not?
You know, I don't hate the power up, but maybe that'll be season 5. But yeah, no, I like that. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like the time jump. That's I really wanted to push.
Do it right away. That'd be super. I do like that a lot. That would be super. Like that will that would throw everyone off.
Right.
Yeah, and you can still do like the mystery thing of like they're trying to figure out who Vecna is in the Upside Down.
Right.
That'd be super interesting. I like that.
Thank you.
So wait, green light or red light? Just give me the green light.
All right, I'll give you the green light.
Yeah.
I'll give you the green light. I would have given you that yellow light, you know, table it. Let's get back to it. But, you know, you got the green light.
It's good enough. It's a C+. That's what I need in life. Nice.
Yes. All right. Stranger Things season 4. Well, let's hope that season 5 is a little bit shorter.
That's a really bad criteria.
I mean, just the episode lengths, please. I can only do an hour at a time at night. Like, I can't sit there for 2.5 hours.
You sound like a boomer, but I totally agree. Though, like, you don't need a 2-hour special. Like, it's not that special either.
Hey, I mean, if you're gonna make 2.5 hour viewing thing, make it a movie. All right, like I'll sit for that.
But David, where can our viewers find us? Oh, my voice is cracked. Where can our viewers find us, David?
You guys can always find us on our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Just search for Repitch Podcast. And also, hey, did you guys like this Repitch? Did you not like it? You guys got any comments? Do you have any other suggestions for repitches? Just shoot us an email at repitchpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, as always, a big shout out to our friend Joe Yoo for all the sound editing on this episode.
Yeah, and always we'll end from a random quote from the series. It's a quote from 11. When she's at school making a presentation. This is my dad. His name is Hopper. He made the best Eggos, and we would like to watch Miami Vice on Fridays. So sad. Yeah, that's all, folks.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys later.